Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gary GZ Duels, and you're watching another episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Stories with Gary. So, for this episode, we're going to talk about something that everybody has to go through, and that is building a deck. So, I'm going to go through what I do in order to when I build a new deck or when I want to try a new archetype, and I'll tell you guys, the processes that go through my mind, the card choices that I usually select, and then I want to ask you guys how you guys build your decks. Okay, so if I want to play a deck, first of all, I want to look at the first thing I want to look at is this archetype good in theory? So does this archetype have a lot of synergy? Does it have combos? Are the monster effects awesome? So I would choose an archetype that fits my playstyle or is like very, very good. Sorry about the glare on my glasses. I'm sorry. This is better. Yeah, this is better. Okay, so that's what I would do first. I would select an archetype that I would like, and then afterwards, what I do is I research about that archetype. So I go on forums, I check out some of the combos that other people have found with the deck, or maybe I go on some go on YouTube, watch some people duel. So that's why I put up like duels with like different decks as well, because I wanted to show you guys what the deck can do in practice. So I want to see some of those duels. Now after seeing that, evaluating whether the deck is viable in the format. What I do is I take a look at research on a couple of people's deck profiles. So I go on YouTube and I just look at a couple of people's deck profiles to get a sense of what the monsters are, what the core monsters are, what the core spell or traps are for the deck. So what I believe in is for every deck there's a core set of cards that you must have unless in order to call it that deck. So for agents, for example, I'm playing agents right now. The core I would say are the 3 Earth, the 3 Venus, and the 3 Hyperions, the 3 Shine Ball, and the 2 Christia. So I think that was the core, maybe plus Honest, because Honest is pretty OP. So I think that's what I would do. I would take the core of a deck, put it into, open up a new, open up like a new page on Dueling Network or maybe a new deck page on DevPro, and I just start putting cards in. Now after I put those cards in, I wanted to take a look at what other people have decided they want to play. Some people, when playing agents, they want to play with Hall of Valhalla, or some people like to play with Card Trooper. Some people like to play with Chaos Engine in there, so they put in Tour Guide and all that stuff. So what I would do is I would, in theory, select the best one that I think I would want to try, or the one that fits my playstyle, and what I would do is I just put it in the deck and then quickly go into a duel with it. With the extra deck, what I do is I take a look at the monsters that I do have, and I usually just guess what I would immediately need. So for agents, if I want to get off the Venus play with the Shine Balls, of course I'm going to need at least one Gachi, so I put in the bare essentials into the extra deck. So I just go into a duel. No matter win or lose, I would learn a lot about the deck. I would learn what types of cards in the extra deck I would need. What types of monsters work better together? Are the monsters too much? Should I increase or decrease the number of a certain type of monster or a certain type of card? And then overall, seeing if this variant is actually viable. So what I started doing with agents, first of all, was I started playing Valhalla because I really wanted to abuse the effect of Christia. So I wanted to, whenever I summon Christia, I can special summon it with Valhalla. They try to destroy it. Christia will send itself back onto the top of the deck. I draw it next turn. I can special summon it with Valhalla. So it seems pretty good. But after a while, playing a while, I see that I get stuck with a lot of these copies of Valhalla. So I decided to try a different variant, and that's how you, through trial and error, testing in actual duels, that's when you actually figure out what type of variant of the deck you want to play. So that's what I would do. And finally, I would round off the deck by playing, cards that most people think are actually just good. Like, most people would agree that it's good. So, playing the one Dark Hole, because Dark Hole is just good. You want to play, I don't know, Mystical Space Typhoons, because, people have field cards nowadays. Dragon Ravine really hurts, as well as Vanity's Emptiness really hurts, so you want to have some of those countermeasures in there. So whatever fits your playstyle. Once that happens, you basically have what you want for the 40 cards in your main deck. You take a look at your extra deck, This is where you get creative. You think about all of the possibilities rather than what you essentially need. Sometimes, like a deck like Agents, you don't necessarily go into the extra deck that much because your monsters like Hyperion, like Christia, like BLS, they're pretty good in the main deck already. So you're not really going to depend on the extra deck. But what happens is you would want more options. Sometimes the deck would want options since you can go into rank 2 XYZ, rank 3 XYZ pretty easily. So that's what you would want to do. You want to leave options for yourself. So my extra deck consists of like 5 different rank 3 monsters, just for those cases in which I actually go into them. So that's what I would do. And then finally, for the side deck, what I would do is once you are comfortable with the main deck of 40 cards and the extra deck, you'll have like 15, or maybe you're debating on 12, the monsters that you think you will actually need. After that, you go into actual duels, not actual duels, actual matches. Now it's getting like increasingly difficult to participate in actual matches on DevPro. So dueling on Dueling Network is actually very helpful. If you go on matches, that's when okay. So what I would do is I wouldn't side anything, and then I would go into a match. I would probably face the top tier decks, and then probably get destroyed. But in the process of getting destroyed, I think about it. I think about, oh man, if this card was such and such a card, if this card was Imperial Iron Wall, I could have won. Or if this card was Vanity's Emptiness, I could have won. If I had Max C at this point, I could have won. So what I would do is, I would take those suggestions, I would put it in the extra deck, and just keep going through matches after match, until you figure out the right combination of the 15 cards in the extra deck, and that's when you finish basically the deck. That's when you are comfortable with the deck, you're knowledgeable of it, you have a 40 card main deck that you're comfortable with playing, a 15 card extra deck that you've accumulated through your testing, and also a side deck that you are proud of because you've also just figured out all the answers by yourself. Now, along the process, it doesn't hurt to take a look at what other people are playing as well. It's not called net decking, it's more like research. Like, you would listen to the suggestions that other people on YouTube or on forums have suggested to you, evaluate whether or not the reasoning is there, and then you choose to implement it yourself or not. So I think that's very important. It's a very important distinction between net decking and researching, because net decking is just without thinking, copy card for card. It might be good, it might be not, it might suit your playstyle, it might not. But researching is really just you see what they play, you see why they play, and then you ask yourself if you would want to play it. So that's, I guess, a difference. So yeah, that's how I build a deck. I start off with, just to recap, I start off with an archetype, I research about the archetype, I play with a general variant of several variants, and then I choose to narrow it down, and I choose one that I really like, and from there I build on it, I build the extra deck, and then I build a side deck through just playing in matches, and yeah, I come off with a deck profile that I show you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Stories with Gary. This is how I build a deck. I'd like to know what you guys do when you're building a deck, how you're perfecting your deck and playstyle. Please tell me in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear it. This is Gary GZ Duels, signing out.